Potato Peelers started with my sister Fern Nicholson actually doing a monologue about 10 years ago, and I looked at the monologue, and I really liked what was being said and how it was said, and what it was about, the secrets that one holds as a child. Now, the seeds that are planted in a child when they're young do affect them at a later age, and it's also exploring the friendship of these three women that have been together for most of their lives, but yet how each of them have secrets.
Potato Peelers intrigued me because it wasn't about the action, it wasn't about movement, it was about just pure character. It was about sit down, take a look at this person in front of you on screen and let that person affect you in some way.
It would have been about 10-15 years ago. I saw a monologue done by Fern and loved the whole premise of it. And I know that we've been talking about it over that whole period. We've got to film it, we've got to film it. And then Wayne rewrote the script and made it into a short film. And then we sort of, he then approached me and said, I've got Potato Peelers ready to go. So we went, cool.
What intrigued me about it is knowing the secrets of older people. You know, back in that time, and the reason why I chose to shoot it in 1941 during the war, one is that I was born in London, but two, the piece itself was reminiscent of that time. And during that time, it was often taboo to talk about such things as child abuse. Secrets were often held within people, and they had to deal with it themselves.
Having the chance to work with the crew that we worked previously with on previous films, it seemed easier to work with the crew and logistically organise a film. We managed to shoot Potato Peelers in a day and a half. When you look at the film, you'll see it is basically set in one room, but what you don't see is the work that went into it, because there were these three amazing actors who we had who were performing amazingly. And yet there was so much art department around, and there was such a logistic challenge to get a whole crew into that little room, to light the room, and yet, you know, not have lights anywhere in the room was an amazing achievement.
The production design in Potato Peelers is really important for the film, to give it a sense of reality, to make it believable that it is set in that time. And of course adding to the characters as well and their story. But a challenge with Potato Peelers was getting the time period right. So we had to do a lot of research into London 1941 and what it would have been like in that time, with clothing, what the houses would have looked like, and then also trying to figure out what we wanted to get out of that time period, so what mood we were trying to evoke with the characters. Finding the location for Potato Peelers was actually really easy. It happened that the location that we'd used for Life of Cardboard, in the old schoolroom that we'd used, right behind it was this really old shack, pretty much, which suited the aesthetic that we wanted really well, and also it had a lot of furniture already in there that we could use. So we ended up going with that location, and it was really just tweaking little bits in the room that we wanted to accentuate, and adding little things here and there to kind of create that London 1941 look.
The house itself was just another character in this film. The house back then, in those days, you can have 3 generations growing up in the same house. So when she was talking about her childhood of her being abused, it was literally in the room opposite to where she was sitting in the present. So the house was just as important as the characters. So the conflict for me there was I wanted to build claustrophobia as the film was evolving. But how do you do that when you want to increase the width of the frame?